Hello guys, welcome to the C++ tutorial series. In this video, we will learn about vectors in C++. My name is Kafui and welcome to my channel mod.dev. Please subscribe and like to help the channel grow and turn on the bell notification icon to get notified whenever I release a content on the channel. With that said, let's dive in. A vector is a container defined in the vector header file. It is a container that is part of the C++ standard library. So in order to define a vector in C++, you have to include the header file into the vector header file into your source file. So I'll do that using the include directive or the include statement and then write vector. So you know that in C++, in order to include a header file that is part of the standard library, you use what? Angle braces. But if you want to include header file that you have declared yourself, then you have to put it in double quotes and then add the .h extension. Now in order to define this vector or a vector using the standard namespace, I'll access the vector container and then in angle braces I'll put in the data type that will be contained in that vector. Then the name of the vector, in this example I'll just use v. Then I'll assign it using the list initialization to random integers. So this will just be 1 to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then I'll terminate this line and save. So what I did was what? I've defined a vector with the name what? V. So first of all, you have to include the header file of a vector. Then using the standard namespace, you access the vector container. And then in angle braces, you have to put in the data type that this vector will contain. So this can be a character data type. It can be a double. So it can be a double data type based on your needs. So I'll just use integer here and then save. Now the name of the vector, in this case v, and then you assign it to vector elements. So using list initialization. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here in this example is what we refer to as what? Vector element. So this is how you can define a vector in C++. Now a vector can grow and shrink as we insert and delete elements into and from it. So in order to insert elements to the end of the vector, we use the pushback member function. So let's say I want to insert another integer or another element into the end of this vector. I'll write the name of the vector and then using the dot notation, I'll access the pushback member function which is available to vectors in C++, and then I'll write the integer I want to add or the element I want to add. So in this case, I'll just add 10. So this is how you can add elements to the end of what? A vector. Now vector elements are indexed. So therefore, the first element has an index of what? 0. So 1 over here has an index of 0, 2 index of 1, 3 index of 2, 4 index of what? 3, in that order. So in order to access the individual element in a vector, we can use the square braces and then write the name of the index, or we can use the at member function. Let me show that to you. Let's say I want to access 2 from this vector. I'll write the name of the vector. Then using square braces, I can write the index of the vector. So 2 over here is having an index of what? 1. By so doing, I can access what? The element 2 from this vector. Let me just output that to the console. So cout, then save this. When I run my code, hopefully we get 2 outputted in the console. Or another way we can do this is using the what? The at member function, which is available to what? Vector. So I'll just cout this, write the name of the vector, and then using the dot notation, I'll access the at member function, and then in parentheses you write the index of the element you want to access. So right now I want to access 5, which is having an index of what? 4. So I'll write that, and when I save and run my code, we get 5 outputted in the console. So this is how we can access the elements that are inside what? A vector. Now in order to know the size of elements in a vector or the total number of elements that are in a vector, we use the size member function. Let me demonstrate that to you to see. So I'll just std cout and then write the name of the vector using a dot notation. I'll access the size member function, and then when I run this, it doesn't take any arguments. So when I run this, we get 6. The reason why we are getting 6 is that what? Over here we are pushing back, or we are adding 10 to the elements in this vector. So initially there are 5 elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we added 10. So when I comment this out and then run my code again, we should see 5 outputted in the console. So because I added this 10 over here is making it 6. So this is how we can access the total number of elements that are in a vector. Now let's say we want to access the last element in this vector. This is what? This 5. We can say, let me just copy this. Oh no, let me just comment it out. I'll say std cout. I'll write the name of the vector, and then in square braces, I'll use the vector, and then using the size member function, then -1, and save. Let me terminate this and save. So what I'm doing is, I'm writing the vector, which is v, and then in square braces, we know that we can write an index here and then access the name of what? This vector, or the element, or an element is in this vector. So this is saying that the size over here will give us the total number of elements in this vector, which is 5, then -1. So -1 will be what? 4. And we know that what? The index of 5 in this vector is what? 4. So when I run my code, we should get 5 outputted in the what? Console. So let's say I push back this, then let me comment this one in and save, and then run my code. We should get what? 10, because now 10 is at the end of, or is the last element in this vector. So that is all for this video on vectors in C++. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section for discussion. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.